Well, hey y'all, this is Elizabeth of Southern Gmore Gals. I have 3 fall thrift flips in my video today. Welcome everybody to Southern Gmore Gals. For my first flip, I found this beautiful sign at Goodwill. It's a metal sign. It's really a big piece. It has some beautiful detail on the bottom and on the top. But we're going to freshen this up, give it a nice new fresh look for fall, and make it look a little bit more modern. So I don't know about you, but I'm not ready for summer to end, but fall is on the way. I think those shorter daytime hours in the evening is what gets me the most. But the first thing I'm going to do to my sign here is I spray painted it black. Once we cover over this, we want some of that beautiful black to show through to give it that nice distressed look. And then I'm going to spray paint it an heirloom white spray paint. That's a beautiful shade between a bright white and then an off-white. It has a wonderful farmhouse kind of heirloom color. And I'm going to use some stencils that I've got from a thrift store. These were actually Martha Stewart stencils. And I'm just using some black paint here. And I cut these out really close so I could try to get my spacing a little bit better. I know I've had some trouble when I've done stencils with the line to be off or, be running downhill or something. So I think cutting them really close to the size they are helps with that. And then I'm going to go and put a piece of painter's tape across here once I get this P in place. And just a real quick peek here, there is the painter's tape, and then I'm going to line my letters across here to try to keep these in a nice straight line. For the pumpkin that I'm going to put on here, I'm mixing just some paint from Walmart. This is just an apple barrel paint with a little bit of baking soda to thicken it up just so it gives it a little bit more of a solid color than really translucent. I was looking for some chalk paint and they did not have an orange chalk paint. So this is an idea that you could use if you want your paint to be a little bit more solid and all you have is an acrylic paint. And I don't want to bore some of you with painting, but it's really simple to paint a pumpkin. I'm really speeding it up here so I don't bore too many of you, but just make a nice circle here, nice design. Pumpkins are kind of lumpy, and then I'm going to go back and paint those ridges in here. First of all, I'm going to use the antique wax. I'm going to do a stem, and then I'm going to put some of the ridges on the top. And as we go along, when I come to the bottom, it's a big boo-boo. I really mess up. But I left it on here just so you can see that we all make mistakes. And when I'm painting, a lot of times I do have to go back and fix them. But when I put them on the bottom, it's too dark. So paint it over with a little bit of orange, and then we're going to go over it with some of the white wax too. So you'll see that here while I'm painting. And I find that painting is a great stress relief for me. I love to paint. Don't make it stressful. If you mess up, you can always paint over and start again. In places like Hobby Lobby, they have some beautiful stencils. I saw a really pretty pumpkin stencil. It was only like $1 something there. Or you can even print out some stencils of pumpkins off a computer on some cardstock paper if you don't want to freehand a pumpkin. And these leaves here were about to get me. I didn't like the way they were looking at first with this light colored green, but then once I went over it with some dark green and made the little line, they look great. But at first here, I wasn't too impressed with these, but keep watching because it gets better. And this right here is my favorite part. I love the way these little vines turned out. I think they really capture the look of a pumpkin, kind of that Cinderella pumpkin ball look, the way all those little vines are spinning off the pumpkin. So my video is part of the Third Thursday Thrift Flips collaboration today. That's where Tammy from the Rusted Willow and myself have an open invitation on the third Thursday of each month. And this month, our special guest host is Leah from Junker Necker DIY. If you don't know Leah, check out her channel. And if you don't know Tammy's, visit her channel. Both of their information is listed down in my description box, along with the playlist. Leah was in our Third Thursday Thrift Flips last month, and she had a great video with some remakes or some flips of some candle holders. So check that video out if you've not seen that video. She also has some great budget-friendly DIYs and some awesome thrift flips. And if you don't know Tammy, Tammy has some gorgeous thrift flips, shopping hauls, and some wonderful budget-friendly DIYs. So check out both of their channels and subscribe, along with the playlist, and support our channels. All that information is listed down in my description box. So back to my flip here. I'm just using a little sander. This is just like from Walmart. And I'm just sanding over this. It worked like magic, just going over this and taking off kind of a little bit of that paint there just to give it a good distressed look. And all that detail here on the bottom and the top is really going to pop through, and it turns out to be a gorgeous sign. So I think this turned out really pretty. A nice big piece to go back behind some of my other pieces here. I'm going to show them to you at the end all together, but I can't believe how it coordinates with the one I had last month. And I just found this sign, but both the top pieces really coordinate great together. So moving on to my next flip, I found this at Goodwill too. I paid $2 for it. I thought it was really a cute little measuring cup. I originally thought it was a flour sifter at first when I picked it up, but it's just a little measuring cup here, I think. And I'm going to paint it, and then we're going to put some floral fall items here. So the first thing I did, I originally painted this, the silver linen shade of Waverly chalk paint, and it was too light. So then I went over it with the elephant shade of Waverly chalk paint, and now watch this. I love this part of the video. This is just like magic. It's taking the antique wax with the big brush and just putting a little bit on my brush and going over the numbers here and the measurements, and look at that. I think that's just awesome the way it makes those numbers and the measurements just pop out. You can really see them so much better now than just if it's just a solid shade of paint. I'm going to do some of this wax around my little measuring cup here and the handle to give it a good distressed look, and then we're going to fill it with some nice fall floral pieces. And if you get a little heavy-handed with this wax, it's okay. It'll wipe off really easy, or you can even spread it more and it'll get thinner. It's really a great product to use. I love the way this gives pieces a great distressed look. And this is kind of a mix from the Dollar Tree and Walmart. I think most of these things came from the Dollar Tree. I did have a little piece of corn husk, and the little white floral pieces I think came from Walmart. But these were just kind of tried to group them together by the color, and look at that. I love the way this looks. Really a pretty piece, nice farmhouse look, but gives it a nice look for fall. And you can also change it out for Christmas or other holidays. Moving on to flip number 3, I found these little wooden houses at Goodwill. There's 2 houses and a church. I paid $5 for the 3 of them were wrapped together. I thought that was a little much for these to be at Goodwill, but that's what I paid for them. And then I found, well, I'm using these. These are just a paint stick that I had. I just cut these apart. I'm going to use these as some little doors on the houses. I'm actually going to save the church for later. I thought I might use that for something with Christmas time. But the first thing I did was I painted the houses black. And then I used some of the heirloom white spray paint to go over top of that. And here you'll see I'm taking some of that antique wax and going around the edges. I'm also going to use the antique wax on the doors. I saw little homes or little houses at Walmart that were decorated for fall, and I thought they were really cute. So that's kind of the look that I'm going for. Most of them had a little wreath on them and then a little door and like a little doorstep. So that's what we're going to do. And I'm just using some little garland pieces or floral pieces from the Dollar Tree to make my wreaths. I'm just looping those around with the garland and hot gluing some pieces on. That little floral pick came from Walmart. So I'm just pulling, I like those little berry pieces. So I'm just pulling those off and hot gluing these here to make a wreath. And this wreath is going to go on the bigger house. And then I'm going to use that little garland there to make a wreath for the small house. And I also found these really cool decals at Dollar Tree. I thought these are really beautiful decals for fall. This, I'm going to use the Hello Autumn and the fall on my houses here. So I'm going to use Hello Autumn on the small house. And you can see I've got the door. And for the door step there, I just used one of the jingle blocks on the Dollar Tree. My daughter actually had that idea. I was like, what am I going to use there for the little wooden step? But that worked out perfect. And then you can see the little wreath there is just a little piece of that garland from the Dollar Tree. I just hot glued the wreath onto my house here. And this transferred pretty good. The end got a little bit stuck here in the little exclamation mark, but most of it came off good. And I'm going to add a little bit of a pumpkin picture on the bottom here too. And look at that. The pumpkin is just beautiful. I think it's really a pretty decal. And moving on to the big house here, I'm going to use this fall picture. And it's really a pretty decal too. I'm using the bigger picture. I just wanted it to be in the center of the wreath there. So I'm just wanting to make sure I get my spacing right. And all you want to do with the decal is you just peel it off like a sticker and then take some. I'm actually using a Pampered Chef little thing for a stone that I use from cooking, but that's what I'm using to rub on here. You can also use like a debit card or credit card if you've got some old ones to use to rub this off of here. And then peel it. You'll just peel that off, and if it's not coming off, you just want to rub a little bit more to make sure it transfers onto whatever you're putting it, whatever surface you're putting it on. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed my video today. Thanks for tuning in to our Third Thursday Thrift Flips. Check out Tammy's channel, The Rusted Willow, along with Leah's channel, Junker Necker DIYs. Their information's down in my description box. And check out the playlist, subscribe to our channels, and give us some support. And we'll see you back here in October. Hope everybody has a great fall. Thanks for watching.